It's time now for 757 House Whisper, live right here on News Talk 790 WNIS.
So you can't help but to be air guitaring like Albin is right now when Mark Dunn is cranking. You guys got to go see him live in concert. He is phenomenal. I'm gonna have
a
to.
lot better than my air guitar, I'm sure.
No, you didn't sound good. No, not at all. Justin, no, I mean he just
I
he didn't
missed
sound
a couple notes.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, this is Chuck Worley. I'm the founder and host of 757 House Whisper. I got my good buddies here, Mr. Justin from Pyramid Roofing, and Albin. So I just said your name. Damn, 55. So Albin with Albin Co. Any additions, any type of actually kitchens, and I know this personally because he was at my house doing measurements for my kitchen.
You're still wanting that tomorrow, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Fiance is helping me design this thing, or maybe she's designing it, and I'm just
that would be the preferred.
Is that
choice
right? So so I'm like, how about this? How about this? She goes, yeah, I wasn't thinking that. I'm like, all right, well, this steered. This so the old farmhouse over in York County. Got a little 5-acre farm over there, and we are fixing up the 1936 farmhouse and all the dream building construction of 1936. We were talking, I was telling Albin that most houses, we have a dormer off the front of the house, right? So the joists are supposed to go from front to back.
The ceiling joists.
The ceiling joists are supposed to go from the front to the back. They go right to left.
Yeah.
Justin shaking his head. Hey, it's standing. It's 1936. We're getting some.
It might be standing, but I want to put a plumb bob on the walls. My guess is the front and back walls are.
There's not a plumb room in that house in 1936.
I mean, you're closing in on 100 years.
Yeah. It's. Are you talking about me?
Well, I mean, could look either way here.
So it's so this whole show is about helping the 757 homeowners figure out their house, figure out their problems. Do you have problems in your house? Do you have roofing issues? Do you have window issues? Do you have addition that you need? Do you need to fix that 1936 farmhouse? Do you need the pink bathroom from 1979 that really needs to be updated? Is it what do you need done to your house, or have you had done to your house that you don't understand a situation or a problem? Do you have ductwork that, you got mold around it? I don't understand it. I've been here 30 years, and now this year, all of a sudden, I got this brand new air conditioner, and now I got mold on my ceiling. Just any question that you have. I have surrounded myself with some very smart guys that there is no questions that you cannot stump my roofing expert. You can't stump my remodeling guy. We want you to try and stump the experts. And there are some tough situations out there, and people don't even realize that they have problems. We were talking about that the other day, but they don't even realize that, that's not right. Well, it's always been like that. Yeah, but it's not right.
Yeah.
So,
and sometimes it becomes a problem. Sometimes even if it's wrong, it's still will stand the test of time. It's kind of a strange situation.
And I'm telling myself, like, we have this 1936 farmhouse that I joke about, that it's got this main beam that goes from the front of the house to the back of the house instead of the right to the left, the way it should be. From the front of the house to the back of the house. In the front of the house, right in front of my stoop that we just re-bricked, which looks beautiful. We just redid that. The main joist, the main girder, stops like 18 inches from the front of the house. It has no pier under it, no support at all, and you could put a level on that thing.
It's not sagging at all.
It is not sagging at all. Like,
but that's the old
how
rough
is it? The old rough
the
cut.
old rough
You mean
cut.
a 2x4 was a 2x4 one time?
Well, if you look
Is
at those
it?
Stop it.
growth
Stop
rings,
it.
yeah,
it's
it
a
is.
rough sawn timbers. They're amazing. I mean, what is it, like a 6x6 or 8x8?
I think it's an 8x8.
Yeah.
I think it's 8, but
The
yeah.
days of true lumber.
But yeah, it was. I had a structural engineer under there, and yeah, he said, man, I didn't have a level with me, but I really wanted one because that thing has been there since 1936. And I'm telling you, I'm looking at it eyeball to eyeball, side to side, and I'm like, yeah, it's not a centimeter off. Like it is right on with no support under the 8x8. Now you build in the houses like today, that whole front door would have fell off the house.
Man.
I mean, you'd have had a sag within 12 months because it's just not the same
like
wood.
1936, they were probably saying, well, let's frame it at X on center, but let's just triple it just to be safe. And now everything's kind of like
Cut back.
You know, we've slimmed down on the
You mean
lumber.
people would cut corners?
Yes.
Albin,
Yes.
stop it.
Yes.
Is that true?
It's
Is
get it done fast.
Yeah.
It's-
Let's see if we
That's
can get it
not
done
always
with
right.
one less nail.
yeah.
You know, it really gets down to just even how many nails.
I mean, if y'all
don't.
don't believe us that people are cutting corners in the contracting world, think about the last meal you just ordered. I was down here at Waterside. I got here a little bit earlier, so went down. I got half the size that I normally get, and
Twice the
it costs
price.
twice the price.
Yeah.
Like a chicken Alfredo was $30, and I had a Sprite.
Gone.
Yeah.
I had a Sprite.
Filled with ice, right?
Yeah, it's just I'm like, what is happening? So you think in construction with all the construction prices blowing up? I mean, yeah, it's crazy. So hey, while I'm thinking about it, let's start with this is a very interesting question, but it very much benefits me. Obviously, I'm Chuck Worley. I own Worley's Home Services. We do heating and air, electrical, plumbing, crawl space encapsulations, spray foam insulation. We do pretty much everything that my experts don't do. So, but anyway, the hottest recorded temperature in the last 7 days. This makes me very happy. It's very happy.
Now,
So-
only in Hampton Roads?
Hampton Roads.
nationwide?
Yep, Hampton Roads. That's all we care about is right here. Our people. 757, our peeps. So the hottest temperature recorded this week. And don't be cheating. Don't be going to Google. I know some of y'all going to the Weather Channel right now. That's my trivia question. Did
So
you
it's
guys have one
It's like
this
take
week?
a guess, everybody, because it's like guessing the beans. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
I mean, I'm
guess.
sweating right now. So, I mean, we got to get the AC going. You know, so yeah. So the hottest temperature recorded, this week, which in my opinion should be hotter. But yeah, we haven't even had a spring, right? I mean, we just
we didn't have a winter either,
We
though.
did not have a winter. We had very, very few days, But anyway, I do want to finish introducing all of our hosts. Now, some of these guys aren't here. It's just Justin and Albin today. But Mike Davenport with CVP Windows, any type of window questions, issues. We got Tommy with Home Remedy. Did I say that right?
Perfect home.
Perfect home remedy. I knew there was a word missing. So Tommy, he's a guy that can help you get all the money for making any repairs to the house. And then of course our favorite woman on the show, Cindy Rowell with Alpha Pest Solutions. So those are all of our experts, and we kind of rotate in here and ask any questions or answer any questions that you guys might have. Our trivia this week is the hottest temperature recorded in the last 7 days, which is it was hot, but not hot enough, right? And then we have the top 3 80s songs. The top 3 80s songs. And at the end of the show, my dude Damon is going to play those top 3 songs. So that's my trivia question. The top 3 80s songs.
So, Chuck, you're trying to tell me that you want me to remember the songs from when I was born.
Were you born yet?
Yeah, barely.
You
Barely.
just are a baby cakes. That's just awful. So for all of us in our 50s listening to talk radio, Justin in his diapers did not remember those
We're
songs.
clocked over 40 now.
Are you clocked over 40?
Yeah,
I got
41.
socks that are over 40. So They're my church socks. They're very holy. They're holy socks. So, but yeah, we are looking for you to call in, ask questions about the house. Anything, any issues, we can fix it. Houses Talk to Me. When you call in, we will be able to help you with that. So call in 627-7979. That number again is 627-7979. So call in and ask questions about your house. So I met a customer that is a single mom. She has 2 kids. She's just about 40. And she was complaining about a service call that she had, not about any of our contractors. It was a guy that her ex-husband picked, and because he was the best number, in his opinion. So the guy comes over, and, you know, she's a single mom at home with the kids, and this guy comes in, and she was very nervous. Like, she's like, this guy come in, butt crack hanging out, you know, one shoe. Like, I'm just kidding about the one shoe. But, I mean, just she was not in a safe environment. She just felt like, man, I need to take my kids and then leave, and then – well, then she's like, well, then I'll leave my house exposed with nobody here. Like, she was just in a really, really bad spot. This is a couple years ago. So I'm introduced myself. I meet her, and her and a friend of mine. So we're sitting there talking, and it was real to her. Like, she said this was like 4 or 5 years ago. But it was real to her. Like, her passion when she's explaining it to me was real. Like, she was like, I was afraid to leave. I was afraid to stay. I got 2 infants, you know, like 5 and 3. You know, I said, man, people really have to deal with that stuff. I mean, that's when it's important to find the right contractor, right? You need a job done. I mean, how many people? There's like a guy every 5 seconds that you run into that can do a roof, right?
Absolutely.
There's a guy every 5 seconds that has a pair of gauges. Oh, yeah, let me pull these out. My brother, sister's cousin taught me about Freon. You know, there's this other guy. You're looking for a solid contractor, a Class A contractor that has insurance, that's going to show up, that has a reputation. I mean, I use the name on my company because I'm not ashamed of it. I want my name to be part of, okay, hey, I know Chuck, I know Chase, my son, you know, I know they're going to do a good job. You know, we're from this area. I mean, I went to Norfolk Catholic and Norfolk State and then the apprentice school. My son went to TAB, Hampton Roads Academy, ended up graduating from CNU. And so we're local people. They're like, oh, yeah, my buddy from CNU, you know, he owns a company now. It's relationship building in the contracting business. Me and Albin been friends for almost, 18, 19 years. But we met, we were introduced together. I did a job for him. He's getting ready to do some jobs for me. Like, it's a relationship that's really important. I'm a homeowner too. I'm a homeowner too. So I get over there. I know Albin's not going to send somebody over to my house if my niece is over there or my fiance is over there. I know that I'm not worried about the guys that he sends over to my house because I have a relationship with this guy. He's got higher standards. He's got, you know, and I know he don't want to be embarrassed when I call him and say, really, that's who you put in my house?
That's
right?
correct.
Yeah. I mean, that's the call I got to take. I'm not taking that call. You know, character, integrity, do the right thing. Don't cheat. Don't cut cut corners. There's so many guys out there doing that I want to be different.
It's rampant.
It's a long process to hire, you know, just making sure we bring people on the team that can reflect who we are.
Yeah, funny guy, a consultant years and years ago, he said, hire slow, fire fast, right? Because once you know who you got, believe who they say they are.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And the problem is you don't know, right? You don't know until they come to work for you because, you know, people fib. Oh, yeah, I was the best roofer in the world. You know, I've been doing this 20 years, and he's selling like, you know, $200 a year, and he should be selling, you know. So you just don't know. But,
Chuck, you know who always makes great first impressions? Liars.
Slick talkers.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Yeah, hey, it looks like we got David. Needs a new roof, floor sinking, mold. Good gracious, David. You got a lot going on this house.
Yep, I can keep a lot of you people busy.
Yeah, no doubt. I said, I tell you what, why don't you just go order a pizza and we'll swing by after the show.
Okay, I'll order a pizza for 5.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So tell me about your situations.
Well, the roof has just been on there for a while. And I've called people and I say, okay, I want your best roof and your next to best roof. And the door opener, the electric one, and the electrician to do that and everything. And I'm getting all kinds of things. They're giving me the one that's a low price roof, and I want something that'll last.
Yeah, you only want to do a roof once, right?
Well,
you bet.
yes. Yeah. Now, if you're going to invest the money in that, you definitely just want to bite the bullet, be done with it once. To be honest and truthful with you, like us at Pyramid Roofing, we have the best, or it's not really for us. We don't really like to, shave dollars to save you, $20 off of a sheet of plywood for no reason. We don't go over anything that's, damaged or anything like that. It's got to be up to our standards, good enough for our house, in order for us to offer it for your house.
So go over that. So when you're looking at a roof and you got, 1 layer, 5 layers, whatever, So
I just ran into a 3-layer yesterday.
You ran? Oh God,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Wow, 3 layers. So you pull it off, then you pull off the paper. You're looking, you're inspecting the wood. You're like, that's your process.
Yeah. So we definitely you want to strip the roof off, take the underlayment off as well, because you actually got to look at the substructure of the roof, make sure that the sheathing is good, whether that be 1-bys or unfortunately, sometimes they are OSB.
Really? You run into OSB on a roof instead of plywood?
Man, that stuff can only get wet 1 or 2 times before it swells up and just starts going down.
Dude, I'm 250 pounds. I step on OSB. We separating quickly.
No, yeah. No, absolutely. But you want to get it stripped down. You want to look at the nailing pattern of the plywood or the if you have 1-bys on it. You want to make sure that the actual what the roof is going on, it's going to be nice and secure and actually hold the new product and make sure it's going to have the longevity that we're looking for.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So tell us about
that all leads
we'll
up
definitely
to really
get
comfort for the customer.
Can you get by there tomorrow or something? It looks like he's in Hampton. So
we can definitely sort that out.
Justin will give you a holler and he'll come over and take a look at the roof. It looks like you said you had some floor sinking and mold, which sometimes those two things can go together.
Well,
tell me about that.
Mold can come from a roof too.
And it's like the living room just sinks down. I can see a big gap in the between the baseboard and the hardwood floors. And when I walk in the house, I can hear a noise creaking from the floors. I don't know whether it's just the floor joists are not holding. Well, the floor joists aren't holding up.
Right.
But
How old is the house?
65.
Okay. Okay.
It should be built.
Yeah.
pretty solid.
60s definitely should be
solid.
built. So where's the mold at? Where's that showing up at?
The floor registers at each end of the ranch.
Okay.
And I'm starting to see black dots on the white registers.
Okay. And
when I turn,
they're in the attic or the crawl space?
No, inside the house. If I'm, in the kitchen, I can notice it, or the register that's coming into the kitchen and the bathroom.
Okay, so can you step on that register, or do you have to reach up to the ceiling to touch it?
No, it's on the floor.
It's on the floor. Okay, so it's in the crawl space. So a lot of times, and we talk about this a lot in Hampton Roads. So what happens is you got cold ductwork, running 50-some degrees, blowing into the inside of a sheet metal duct system, right? And it's wrapped with insulation that's probably 1965 duct system, right? And it could be a little bit younger, but you got cold duct on the inside of it, and then it's in a crawl space that is 100 degrees with 90% humidity. So that hot, humid air is getting through the insulation, touching that cold duct. What's going to happen? It can't help it. It's going to sweat.
It's going to sweat.
Right? Yeah, it's going to, cold touches hot. Immediately you're going to have sweat, condensation, and then what's that lead to? right? That leads to the mold and mildew and all that stuff. So we gotta try and fix that. Some ways that we can fix that is obviously replacing the ductwork, making it more energy efficient. Using flow hoods and doing duct blasting and sealing up the ductwork and making that just a better job.
And a concealed crawl space, right?
And then encapsulating the crawl space is always an option, but not for everybody, right? So kind of the way I like to attack a house is kind of like, all right, let's figure out what's the worst situation. Let's do that first. I mean, if you got water coming in your crawl space, coming in your roof. Obviously, we need to get Justin over there first. Let's stop the water from coming into the house.
All trades are important, but the roof does protect everything else. So,
and the death of a house is water and moisture. So we want to keep that out first. And then the floor sinking, that could be from the moisture, from maybe the sweat and ductwork. You got moisture under the house or water under the house, and the water will attack the wood underneath the house. And then once, I always tell people, wood doesn't go bad, right? You got these 100-year-old houses in Norfolk that have not moved. I was talking about my 1936 farmhouse and had that one girder that has not moved. The reason it hasn't moved is why? It hadn't gotten wet, right? If that girder would have got wet, that thing would be, it could be sloping 12 inches, right? Yeah. It's the moisture that attacks the wood that causes all the problems in a house. And so the floor sinking, we can get over there. What I typically recommend is let's get a structural engineer over there that gets paid to stamp a thing that says, okay, this is the problem with the house. He gives me the scope of work. I give you a budget to fix it. And you're not hiring one of these big, and I won't mention names or letters, but they're big companies, and they come in, they hire salesmen, and they just sell you, oh, yeah, it looks bad. Let's sell you a $50,000 job. No, let's get an engineer that's paid to fix it, right? To tell you how to fix it, and then we'll come out with a budget to fix what the engineer says. All right? Yeah. That's how we'll attack it. That's how we'll attack it.
And we'll be right back with more on 757 House
Dave.
Whisper with our guests here on News Talk 790 WNIS. See you in a sec, Chuck.
Those were great questions. Thanks, David. Hey guys, this is Chuck Worley, the host of 757 House Whisperer. We got Albin with Albin Homes, Albin Co, talking about home remodeling, new construction, anything having to do with construction, and our good buddy Justin with Pyramid Roofing, who's going to answer any questions you have about roofing and the wonderful things that you find in roofing. So, you were talking about something you found that was not a roofing issue. You got water coming in the house, but
no. Actually, a couple I went and met today. Apparently, they own the house for 5, 6, 7 years or what have you. They call in, say they've got a stain on the ceiling, roof leaks, but it doesn't leak when it's raining outside. So clearly, the antennas go up. It's just, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But I went up on the roof, did a full inspection, make sure everything's squared up on the roof, which it was.
How old was the roof?
I would say probably 10, 12-ish. So,
Okay.
There was still, there's still at least another 10, 12 in it.
Yeah.
And it looked pretty good, honestly. So I went and got the A-frame ladder out of the back of my truck, popped open the crawl space, and, I'm in there looking around. And then
the attic.
The crawl space attic, There I go, talking without thinking.
That's right. I do that all the time.
Yeah, popped open the attic, and I'm looking over there, and, they got their air handler in the attic, and, I'm looking around. I'm like, now I'm no HVAC guy, but those condensation pans aren't supposed to be completely full, I would assume.
Yeah, they call it, it's a trick.
Okay.
So they call it emergency drain pan. So what's that mean to you? If you have water in it,
it should.
Yeah, if you have water in it, it's an emergency.
Yeah.
If there's water in it, it's an emergency.
Well, yeah. And so I'm up there, I'm looking at it, and I let them know that I'm not really an HVAC company. I'd be happy to send over Chuck's information. But yeah, looking at the actual pan itself, it's it's all cattywampus. It's down where the drain is, it's basically empty, and on the other end, it's completely full.
Can you spell cattywampus?
No, I can't. That's public school. It sounds good though. It
I went
sounds
to
real
private
good.
school and I can't spell cattywampus.
It sounds
Yeah.
good.
That is funny.
But yeah, no, it's. I mean, there's a lot of things going on. And
So you said it was a warranty company that put it in?
yeah, it was.
and-
They told us that it was. I guess when they had first moved in, the house came with some kind of home warranty or what have you. Home warranty come in through this in for them under their warranty, and didn't have problems with it for a while. Now we're moving into the hotter days where the AC is kicking on, and just like we were talking earlier, I'm assuming things started sweating, filled up the pan, and now they got a huge spot on the ceiling. No good for anybody. But like I said, that just comes back to just being honest, trying to do a thorough diagnostic, not telling them that it's something wrong with the roof when it's really not.
You had another roofer out there trying to sell him a roof.
Well, I'm not going to name names, but it
Yeah,
happens.
yeah,
I mean, the roof was in good
The
shape.
water goes through the pan all the time when it condensates. So you have two lines, right?
Yeah, it had
do.
to. It had
So
to.
Let's go through the science of this.
Yeah.
So we have a drain line. It's a 3/4 inch PVC drain line. It's got a little P trap on it. Hopefully an electric P trap, because on all installations actually in all installations, but especially in our attics, we have two safety switches. One, if you think about underneath, you open up the sink underneath your sink, right? You got that little P. It's called a P trap. Right,
Like a half a U-turn.
it's like a U.
Keeps the gases
It's like a
out.
horseshoe, right? Yeah. So, and it also catches stuff in that P trap, right? So if something falls down the drain,
telling me
rings or
there's
whatever,
treasures in there?
Yeah, there's treasures in there. So don't be cutting open, the PVC. But so it catches, anything that falls down the drain. Normally it ends up in that little P trap. So up in the attic we have that P trap, kind of the same similar reasons to catches sediment and stuff like that, right? So we have a regular drain that goes into that and then goes out. The reason I bring up that P-trap is we have an electric P-trap, which my best example, and I actually had a homeowner, a homeowner tell me this. He goes, so I was explaining it to him. So what happens is the drain gets clogged. So then the water backs up into that little P-trap. So then what happens is the water gets into the P-trap and starts backing up, and the water starts raising into where it's going back to the unit. But there's this little bobber, which is like, grandpa's fishing a little red and white bobber on the water, right?
Like a trip
when that,
sensor.
when a fish hits it, it pulls it down, right? Well, when the bobber is sitting there on the water, it actually picks up out of the water. Like the water backing up pushes that bobber up, and it electrically cuts the thermostat off. Now, what happens when you cut the power to the thermostat?
Shut the system down.
It shuts the system down.
yeah.
Okay.
So you call me sweating, not you call me with a stain in the ceiling.
Right.
So do you think the volume of conversation is louder with the stain on the ceiling, or that they're sweating? It's about the same. But
Yeah, I was
they don't
thinking-
have to fix the ceiling, right?
Yeah, they don't. There's no brown spots on the ceiling or nothing
so
like that.
It ends up being a cheaper fix, just fixing that. So that, and then an emergency drain pan is literally a sheet metal drain pan underneath the entire air handler, right?
Hold on now. You said the entire air handler. So you're telling me not half of it's supposed to be hanging off of that pan?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then
Encapsulated.
There we
Yeah,
go.
so-
there's
So I
problem
mean,
number two.
the science is where the thing is leaning right or left, right? Because you want the water to go out. We got this thing called grade, and it's I know
Gravity
it's-
works in that a little bit,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
so gravity is real. Okay, especially if you fall off a roof.
come on
Gravity is
now.
real. you know. if
Oh,
you
don't
fall
put that
off a
evil
roof-
on me.
Yeah, I know. So, that's right. Your wife can't pick you up. So, so what happens is that emergency drain pan covers the entire air handler underneath of it. The purpose of that is, let's say it's just underneath of where the water is coming. Well, that's great unless it's tilted the wrong way.
That's
Then
what
the
I saw.
water goes outside of the air, because if it's going to drip, it's not going to drip in the drain pan if it's not covering the whole thing, right? I mean, Murphy at my house,
Come on now.
I mean,
My
Murphy's
last
law,
name.
right?
Jesus.
Murphy's law. If it's going to drain or leak wrong, it's going to leak outside
My
of where the
guess
drain
is
pan
this,
is.
This installation he's talking about probably didn't have a platform. Is probably kind of janky up in the roof and the trusses.
And normally what tells me that is home warranty,
yeah.
right? Because the home warranty companies, the only reason companies work for home warranty companies is because they don't have a big enough name for themselves. So they basically get more business than they could possibly get from one contractor. And I'm just going to tell on myself, in 2001, when I first opened up my own business, I had a dream and a truck and no employees. I needed business. So I called, a friend of mine told me, call a home warranty company. So I'm like, all right, dude, they sent me 5 calls a day. Like, I was busier than a one-legged man in a butt kicking contest. I go out there and then I'm like, hey, there's Freon leaking, and Freon is not like gasoline. You don't have to keep filling up the Freon, right? It's a closed loop system.
Yeah,
so if it's leaking, you got to fix the leak. So I call them up and said, hey, we need to find the leak. We need to fix the leak. Well, what's that going to cost? Well, it's hundreds of dollars. It's probably going to take me 3-4 hours to find the leak because, I got to pressurize it. I got to, So then they're like, well, can't you just put Freon in it? I said, well, yeah, but it leaked out. And he goes, yeah, but just gas and go. And I'm like, okay, no, I can't do this.
That's bad.
I can't do this. So about the third call that they asked me to jeopardize my character and integrity and doing the right thing, being raised by that Navy chief in Norfolk, I'm just not doing it. So I walked away from it, right? But it was 5 calls a day, 10 calls a day, 30 calls a day. These guys will fill up your schedule. The problem is because they're your only customer, they force you and jeopardize you to make bad decisions and cause you to, hey, I need to make money, so let me just, not tell them the whole truth. And I'm like, no, that customer is my customer. No, we're your customer. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not going to lie to this guy because you're my customer paying me. So anyway, it's just
that's integrity.
Home
just
warranty
being
is tough business. It is a really tough business. But if you're buying a house, it does give people peace of mind, right?
Yeah.
Hey, you're buying a house, you get a home warranty. Now, if it's like a refrigerator or a dryer, those are the only positive stories I ever hear about home warranty companies is, yeah, man, I got a free dryer out of it. Okay, so you got you're paying $300, or $500 a year for 10 years, and you got a $400 dryer for free. Do the math, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And again, it's a business model. It works for some people. It gives them peace of mind. But anybody that ever calls me is never to say, Chuck, I just had the best experience with my heating and air conditioning on a home warranty a job. No, it's always a nightmare. I've been waiting for 4 weeks. I haven't had AC for 4 weeks. My biggest, not fondest memory, but my last memory was a friend of mine called. He said, look, my sister, she's single. She's got 4 kids. Her husband left her. She's over there. I think she was in Smithfield, but over in Albin land. And so she calls. He said, look, if the home warranty company don't pay you, I'll pay you. All right. It's a friend of mine. So
you gotta do
I
what's
said,
right.
yeah. So I go over there, I fix it. I send her, she had been waiting 6 weeks. So they'll schedule her appointment. The day before the appointment, they call and say, hey, we can't get there. We'll be there Monday. Then she was supposed to be there Thursday. She had called the Monday before. So Monday comes around. What happens on Monday? 8 o'clock Monday morning. Hey, we're going to have to bump that to 6 o'clock tonight. She's like, well, I've been waiting this long.
People have schedules.
Yeah, I've been waiting. She was a single mom with 4 kids
Well,
at home. But my point was, she goes, okay, well, you can come at 8 o'clock at night. I need to get my AC. So 7:45, what happens?
Call back?
They call and say, hey, we'll see you Wednesday.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So she gets to Wednesday. Bro, this went on for 6 weeks. So that's when my friend calls me, look, she's got to have AC.
Enough
They're
is
in a
enough.
window unit in the kitchen. All 4 kids are sleeping on the kitchen floor. I'm like, all right, so we go over there. It was literally $250 service call. We fixed it in less than an hour. And she goes, you have got to be kidding me. I have been waiting for 6 weeks with no AC, with a small window unit in my kitchen, sleeping on the kitchen floor for 6 weeks. But, she don't know what she don't know, right?
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, so that's why we do this show, is to educate people. Look, there's a better way. Call good contractors, Call us with questions.
I have a feeling you're
757.
going to get a lot of calls now that you said that you could come out and fix home warranty work.
Yeah, well,
Obviously not at their prices.
Yeah, I've never seen a job. Yeah, I've never seen a job so bad that I couldn't fix it. We've all seen bad
Wonder
jobs.
how many more people out there are sleeping on their kitchen floors?
Yeah, it sucks, man.
Because they can't.
Well, look, let's call in 627-7979. Try and answer our trivia question, and then 627-7979. Our phone number is 757-955-9415. you can call or text your questions into the House Whisperer Show phone line. So that's we're waiting on your calls. We had a great call from David in Hampton this morning. I said this morning.
Yeah,
It's 6
sure did.
o'clock, man. It's been a long day. 627-7979. Please call in with any questions about your home. Again, we're doing this show as a public service for the 757. When we answer your questions, we are helping hundreds of other people with the same type of question. So don't think you're just calling in to help yourself. You're literally helping this 60-year-old single lady that doesn't have questions or has questions about the house that's not going to call in, right? So just call in, ask your questions, and we will be able to help you guys with any problems in your house. Call in, try and stump my experts.
One way or another, there's got to be a solution.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Broke can't stay fixed.
Most of the stuff we're talking about is just like Chuck says, the house will talk to you. I mean, eventually we can come up with a solution by just hearing what you have to say and what's going on in the house, whether it's a drip in your house when it's not raining or things like that. We can get to the bottom of it if you look at it long enough. And we can maybe just help you by helping you talk through it. Maybe we don't have to come out, but maybe we can actually help you find that solution.
So, Albin, while you're talking, kind of tell everybody about your company. And
So I'm Albin with Albin Co. We specialize in home remodels. We do kitchen remodels, bath remodels. We'll do additions. We'll do new home construction. We do fire restoration. So if like you keep saying, it's everything about the home. We will come in there. We can gut a house and put it back the way you want it. We can tear out walls and do engineered designs that will maybe open up a space and put in bigger beams and reinforce the foundation to help with those concentrated loads, different things like that. And so, yeah, we've had great success, and we've got a lot of happy customers.
And he is actually drawing our kitchen cabinets for us. So Honey is trying to tell him, look, I need this, I need this, I need this. And corners, pulling out drawers and all that stuff. So it is really cool, the design stuff that he's doing for us in my kitchen. Look, I'm not using contractors on this show that I don't use at my own house, right? So he's doing a great job. So of course she wants it done, yesterday, but it's that's not going to happen. But we're working, right? We're working through it.
Sir.
So thank you, Albin, for telling us a little bit about it. So it looks like we got a call. Water running. Hey, Charles. Charles in Norfolk.
Charles.
Hey, what's up, Charles in Norfolk?
How are you doing?
All right,
Listening
Charles.
to the show, and I thought maybe this might be something or a question you could answer for me. I was running my sink this morning, and matter of fact, this house I just bought, and I think I've been in it now about 3 weeks.
Oh,
that's fresh.
That's new.
That's
Yeah.
fresh.
Did you get a home warranty with it?
To be honest with you, I'm not even sure. This is the first time I've ever done this, and it's probably my fault because I rely so much on the realtor, but I'm not even sure if I have a home warranty.
That's all right. That's all right.
Well, I'm not even sure. But to just say how that I was running my sink this morning, getting prepared for work, and I saw water leaking from under the stool.
Underneath the sink, you mean?
Not the sink,
Okay.
the stool,
The toilet.
the toilet.
The toilet. Okay. Yeah. So that you were running your water in your sink, but you saw water leaking out of your toilet.
It wasn't out of the toilet. It was leaking from around the floor.
Interesting.
Like the way
Where
the
the
wax
floor,
ceiling.
where the
Okay.
toilet
Yeah.
meets the floor.
All right. So with a toilet, obviously we have water in the toilet. So we have to have water go into the toilet. And then, of course, when we flush it, we have water exiting through the sewer. So we got city water coming in to the back of the toilet. Typically, there is a really cheap little turn knob that you can cut the water off to the toilet if there ever is an emergency or you need to remove the toilet. We need to cut the supply water to the toilet so that toilet can be removed, replace the wax ring, whatever. So it could be just a drip from that. I'm trying to remember the name of that cutoff, that little small little
turn valve.
Yeah, it's like what was it?
Quarter turn valve.
Yeah, quarter turn valve. That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, so it's Albin's not as young or old as I am, so he hasn't forgotten stuff yet.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, that's exactly right.
I mean, you're right on me, though. You're right on me. So, but yeah, so basically that either that quarter turn valve is leaking by, or it could be just where the
Is it possible
copper
he has,
pipe is going into the toilet?
Well, is it possible he has some pressure on his drain lines that's causing some backfeed into the?
It could
basically, you have a bad wax ring, you got water going through the pipes, and the water's just not draining away enough, so it's creating a little pressure at the toilet.
I'm thinking that.
I mean, you're the plumber. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking that it's a supply versus sewage, water going out. Now, you may see evidence from where the sewer pipe is, like around the. So when it leaks, that water leaks behind the toilet. Where's the water going to go? To the lowest area, which is right where the toilet, outside the toilet, the ring, around the shroud, around the outskirts of the toilet. You're going to see evidence of water draining. It's going to always go to the lowest, least path of resistance, right? So the water is going to go down. So what I have seen is I've seen water leaks that, are leaking behind the shower, but the water ends up behind the toilet and underneath the sink, and you're like, oh, God, I got a leak under my sink. So you go there, and there's but everything's dry under the sink. So then you go to the toilet, and you're like, man, everything's wet around the toilet. And you're like, but there's no leaks or there's no water. Up in the air, there's no water. It's just on the floor. And then you're like, oh, man, of course there's water in the shower, but then you open up the wall, or you got to access behind the shower. So you pull off the backside, and you got this water dripping that's literally been dripping for whoever knows how long.
It's a good idea, though. What you said is just cut the valve off under the toilet, dry it off really good, go back to the sink and try it and see what happens. If you don't have a leak, if you don't have any water around the bottom of the toilet, then
you've narrowed it down, right? You've narrowed it down. So, but yeah, I can get a plumber over there to take a look at that for you. That sounds like it's a pretty easy fix. That's not going to break the piggy bank.
If I may, I'm gonna add to this because I thought it was something with the sewage. So I called the city, as the city came out because one of the neighbors said there's a problem in the area. So I called the city. They supposed to have came out. They said it's a drain problem. So they came out and supposedly cleared up the sewage line or whatever. But then I thought it was cleared up until this morning.
Okay.
Well, that won't clear up your part. So if there was a problem, you may have some problems in your lines now.
Yeah, and a lot of times when they come in and clean out an area, that causes the problems to go back to underneath your house, which of course is, your problem. So, but yeah, I always tell people if they have backups and to call the city first because it's free if they fix it, right? Yeah. I mean, I don't make money telling customers that, but it's the right thing to do. I mean, if they're going to, it's honest, right? It's when I do that and I help a customer and they save money and you're like, dang, Nick, I didn't even make any money telling me that. What happens the next time they have a problem?
They're going to call you.
They're going to call me, right? They're
going to refer you to your friends.
So serve the public, and the public will come back to you. So yeah, I can get a plumber over there, Charles, to take a look at that. That was absolutely. Thank you for calling in. That was absolutely a great question, and I really think that. I mean, there are a lot of other people out there that have found leaks, found water. 30 feet, 20 feet, 10 feet away from where the problems were. I've walked into houses where they have towels in the walkway. I'm like, why do they have a towel right there in the middle of the hallway? That doesn't even make sense. Yeah, there's a little water that just shows up there every now and then. I'm like,
That's
What
no good.
in the world?
That's no good.
Like it's you have a second story shower that you only use when company comes into town, but you got this water stain in the ceiling, but it only leaks when they're using the shower upstairs. People.
They've got Rain Man renting a room in the back, right?
Yeah, it is crazy. So, well, Charles, thank you for the call. That was a fantastic question. We appreciate that.
Best of luck to you, Charles.
Thank you so much.
So, hey, so do you want to go over the songs? We're gonna play the 3 songs. We haven't had any answers, so we get to pick them, and nobody gets to argue about what the 3 famous songs of the '80s are.
The 80s again.
All right, you need to grow up. You need to grow up. You need to grow up. You need to get in your 50s.
I got a little gray hair coming in here.
Yeah, both of them.
Let's not hurry it along.
So anybody got a little Talking Heads? What was the name of that one? You can't go wrong.
Hey,
with
I
the
remember
Talking
that,
Heads.
Chuck.
See? Your mom probably beat you when
That's
you
probably what it was.
Just
Yeah.
because it was when you were born doesn't mean they're still not famous now.
And then here you go. There you go. And this is what is this? Once in a lifetime? What is that? Yeah, once in a lifetime. So Mike wins the award. Crowded House. That's right. Yeah, once in a lifetime. Talking Heads. This is it. And then Peter Gabriel. So, hey, thank you all for joining us this week. It was a fun show.
The preceding program was sponsored and paid for by Worley Home Services, who's entirely responsible for its content.